present here. Now we are starting a very important session. A panel discussion on challenges, constraints and strengths, way forward in highway sector, enhancing value of road sector assets, enhancing safety of road users. And as a curtain raiser to this important panel discussion, we are having a presentation from Tamil Nadu Police Traffic Warden for 10 minutes to set the tone of the panel discussion. So I request the members of Tamil Nadu Police Traffic Warden to come on the stage. They will introduce themselves. They are coming from various professional background and they are doing a committed, unparalleled, dedicated effort toward road safety, taking out time from their professional life and also contributing from their own pocket. So I request you will do that? Mr. Santosh Kumar to introduce the members of the team and also the brief about their presentation.
I am indeed delighted to be with a part of this 73rd IRC General Assembly. It is most valuable moment for us. I recall the great Indian poet who articulated 3000 years back, Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir. It has once again come out true by associating the people from various geographical boundaries. Let me start my projection. We, the Tamil Nadu Police Traffic Warden organization, is totally a unique volunteer dedicated for road safety and educational activities. Our main motive after the long research on road safety, we have brought into a conclusion with this following topic. Where there is clear understanding in the road traffic knowledge rules, their focus will be clear in safety on their roads. Where there is focus in the safety on the roads, there will be order in the driving. Where there is order in the driving, there will be no fatalities in the roads. So we are concentrating much from the beginning of the childhood. First, we would like to introduce, I would like to thank first of all the Indian Road Congress, Tamil Nadu government, our respected Commissioner of Police, Coimbatore City, Thiru A.K. Vishwanathan, and the respected Deputy Commissioner of Police Traffic, Thiru Pravesh Kumar IPS, and respected Chief Traffic Warden in charge and Deputy Chief Traffic Warden of Coimbatore City, Thiru N. Kennedy. Who we are? Now the way you see us in uniform, we are not the policemen. We are associated with the police team in educating the road safety. I am from a different profession. I am an actor. The person who has associated with Mr. Karthikeyan, he is a technical engineer who completed biotechnology. Mr. Leonard Badan, he is a doctor, and Mr. N. Karthikeyan, Mr. N. Kennedy, he is from the technical side. He is the distributor of CCTV cameras for a reputed brand worldwide. Our responsibility of creating the model road user. Whenever we speak on road safety, we have a major hindrance how we are going to inculcate this subject on people's mind. We are already much grown our mindset is already solidified. We have difficulty in inputting the knowledge within us. So we select students, educating them with the road signals and road systems right from their tender age, so that we can create a right road users for tomorrow. How we are selected? Are we directly selected from public just like that? No. We have a selection procedure. We have a written test. We have a ground training. After that, the dual process of interviewing committee will interview us, and the recruitment will go by the respected Commissioner of Police, Coimbatore. Now you can see the difference between the first image what you are seeing. The moment at a prime point, there is too much of public occupying on the mid of the road. When traffic wardens take up the position, we control the system of this road right from the left side and to the right side, the movement of the public and movement of the vehicles. You can see both the photographs, you can find the difference in this. We, the traffic wardens, the member of having 60 officers in this, we work for Monday to Saturday, 3 hours per day, rotatory basis. We have 3 points, major points in the Coimbatore city. We control the major points and we will work on it, on regulating the road safety. In addition to this, on the special call from the Commissioner of Police in connection to the VIP convoy or the escorts to the VIP arrivals, or the local domestic functions like car festivals and Diwali escorts, we are associating with the respected police department. What is the hierarchy of us? We are controlled by the respected Commissioner of Police, respected Deputy Commissioner of Police Traffic, and the immediate commander of us will be the Chief Traffic Warden, who is controlling the regular activities of this. Throughout the year, we are involving into so many activities, which is giving a remarkable changes to the public. Whenever we come into the road, people can see the difference on the pedestrian side, on the vehicle movement side, in all sides. One of the awareness program which we conducted on December 2010 was the Ananda Salai Vibathilla Kovai, which means the happy roads, accident-free roads in Coimbatore. We aware 1 lakh road users. This is the Guinness record we have created. There were so many games. How we train is the most important thing. We have 2 scenarios in this, 2 divisions in this. One is the operational division, that is the officers who work in the road to control the systems, and the RSP team. This too has a big role in creating this system what we have achieved so far. RSP is a very detailed project that will be abbreviated to you by Dr. Leonard Bernadette in continuation to me. Next, the major point we concentrate in training is the drivers. Drivers of mini doors, drivers of lorries, drivers of auto have a lack of knowledge in understanding the system because they are from downtrodden backgrounds. So we educate them how valuable the life is by using a small game called blood bucket. We have 2 buckets in this. Both the buckets will be filled with red color water, and they want to pass the water in their hand and they want to fill the next bucket from one bucket to another bucket. The dropped water in the ground, we teach them as the value of blood, how much we have shed on the road so far. So in according to the preventing of life, they must be very careful in handling the road rules, the driving systems wherever they go. In addition to that, we are suggesting them to keep their family photos in front of them when they drive, so they can have a conscious, they should not overtake, or they should not violate the rules whenever they tend to. Next, our achievement so far has been reached a remarkable destiny. Our book for the Ananda Salai Vibatilla Koi was launched by Dr. Abdul Kalam in the same venue. And our Naren Karthikeyan, Formula 1 racer from Coimbatore, we have associated him in addition to speak on the relevant subject because he is from the race. So he has launched this safety guidance subject. Support from our official officers. So far we have done a lot of programs in connection to the road safety. Whenever we call upon this invitation, there was abundance of support from all level of people in creating this road awareness. Even I would like to thank in this occasion Mr. Vishnu Prasad ji on providing me such opportunity to explain our activities. Do we have a payday? We are totally a volunteer service. We are into this, dedicating our personal time and value for educating people on road safety in various aspects. Next, most of the people have this problem. We are not conscious whether we are right or wrong in the road. You can see this first person is in the bike. You can see he is beyond the cross line. He is very cool that he has not realized he has violated the rule. He is very cool and he is thinking he is doing right, and the rest of the people behind him are stupid. And this lady who is crossing this signal, this is not the way she got to cross, and she is not realizing that. Why this happens? Because the incompletion of the knowledge in the road safety or the road rules. This can be properly done only from the school level. So we are concentrating much in the school level, college level, and making a practical demo in the roadside for the public awareness. Before we start talking about the RSP activities, I would like to call upon Mr. Karthikeyan, Duty Planning Officer of our team, to abbreviate our achievements on Ananda Salai. And we have launched 3 books as our guidance for the society. One is My Personal Road Safety Guide book. Another one is Ananda Salai Vibatilla Kovai. And the third one is the promise sheet. In that promise sheet, in the name of Dr. Abdul Kalam, we are receiving the promise from the children. We are asking them to store it safe so that they can have a mark in their life that I have committed for the road safety. I would kindly call upon Mr. Karthikeyan to address this delegate.
Good afternoon all. First of all, I would like to thank the authorities and organizers of IRC for the opportunity given to us in this great occasion. And I would like to thank on behalf of our Chief Traffic Warden and the Traffic Wardens of Coimbatore. I would like to thank our Commissioner of Police and the Deputy Commissioner of Police to permit us to take part in this great occasion. And actually, as he said, for the RSP cadets, we have educated them and trained them in various occasions, and they are called the road safety cadets are called for special occasions and special duties wherever we want, and to guide them in road safety aspects, we are going to launch a road safety visual guide for them. And to inculcate the road safety awareness to the students of schools and colleges, we are having a proposal to introduce a live traffic park in front of their school premises and college premises. The survey of the proposed traffic park has been started already in the month of December, and this 2013 and 14 of this year we are having a proposal to complete the road safety park project in all the schools and colleges. And we need a great and good heart to support, to encourage each citizen to accept his responsibilities and responsibilities for his own and other road users on the roads. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon and all. I am over here to describe you about our functioning of road safety patrol in schools and colleges. I would like to first tell you how we induct a school into this organization. We get 100 students enrolled as a road safety patrol. We give them the right training. We visit each school. We give them the right training about the signals available, how do they perform duties on the road. So this is the photograph where we impart training to the children. Each school and college is given a half-a-day training, and we see that they perform duties on the road with this training given to them. In the city of Coimbatore, we have 120 schools and 28 colleges with 12,000 plus students as RSP cadets in our troop. We provide safe passage to the entire school community with our RSP cadets. We give them, teach them additional qualities such as leadership and sense of social responsibility. We started this RSP movement way back in 2008. Our students perform duty on the school gates and college gates from in the mornings and in the evenings. The primary function of our road safety patrol is to instruct, direct and control students in crossing the roadways near the schools and assist the teachers and parents of fellow students for safe pedestrian practices at all times and places. We teach them the different road signs. We have got different signs on the road, mandatory signs, cautionary signs, informatory signs. We teach them the differences in the sizes, the shapes and so on. This is the photograph of our students doing duty in front of the gate. We have formed a lot of games teaching the students road safety. Over here in the photograph you can see Rangoli on road signs, blood bucket, smiling contest, tug of war. Each game is correlated with a road rule. Say for example, if it is tug of war, we correlate it with lane discipline. So a tug of war game has been involved with a rope with two teams pulling on either side. There should be a constant pull evenly, otherwise the other team falls onto the other line. So we teach them that we should pass the road or travel on the road with a constant speed, not overspeeding. And we teach them what happens when they follow rules and what happens when they violate. So normally we tend to think that if it is one way or no entry, we have a time limit over it. That is what is normally thought of, but we tell them that no entry and one way is always to be followed all the 24 hours. We teach them the traffic logic. Take for example, if we have a pavement on both the sides of the road, we'll have to walk on the direction of the vehicle traveling. If we don't have pavements, we should walk on the road facing the traffic movement. So the logic behind this is see and you can be seen. So we teach them the required knowledge of traffic rules. We make each and every RSP cadet to take a pledge that he will not violate road rules, and he will educate others in traffic rules. So the activities of our RSP students are, we have a 10 minutes traffic class taken by each student twice a week, so that the entire school or the college will get educated in road safety. We focus our RSP students as the ambassadors of road safety in their premises. These are the competitions, these are the games which we follow, and this is a small team of our RSP unit. We have formed a Commissioner's Rolling Trophy for schools and colleges, where we have fixed criteria for selecting such schools and colleges. These are the students' call-out duty, where there's an important function or important VIP coming in. We involve our RSP students to form their guard of honor. I would mainly come on to this particular theme. This signal which is given over here is the electronic signal. Normally we see the red light as on the top, amber light in the middle, green light at the bottom. We teach the children, and we see the advertisements on the roads: stop, listen and go. Over here the amber light normally comes before red. This is to slow down, but our system tells that we have to listen. So I would appeal on to the authorities to kindly consider it and make the required changes on this regard. Over here I would like to bring it to your notice that we teach the children about the differences of road signs. I would like to tell you that whenever we see this, we correlate it to be a hospital, but actually this is a resting place and this is a hospital. So we normally don't recognize the signs properly. So we teach the children from the young age to go through the signals and follow it in the right manner. So this is a small clipping of what happens if we don't use the road in the right way. Those who are, as the message says, those who have a weakened heart, please don't view these images. So these are the images are caused due to unsafe road practices. Thank you very much.
Please give a big hand of applause to the presentation given by this unique NGO for the cause of enhancing road safety for the common people. We thank a lot, and we hope for a bright future for your organization. Now I request the panelists to come on stage. Starting with Shri K. Kanda Swamiji, Director General Road Development and Special Secretary, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Shri Ashok Khurana ji, Director General CPWD. I think he may be joining us shortly. Shri P.N. Jain, President IRC. Mr. Philip Jordan, Principal Road Safety Consultant, Australia. Shri G. Sharanji, ex-DGRD, Shri K.C. Mahali ji, Police Commissioner, Professor A. Veera Raghavan ji, IIT Chennai, IIT Madras, Shri C.S. Prasad ji, ex-DG CPWD, Mr. Kiyoshi Dachiku from JICA, Shri D.P. Deshpande ji, Member of Information Commission, Government of Maharashtra, Professor Praveen Kumar, IIT Roorkee, Shri S.M. Ramchandani ji, Secretary MRDDA, Shri S.K. Puri, ex-DGRD, Shri S.K. Mehta, MD, Mehta Construction, in addition, there will be floor coordinators, Shri Arnab Bandyopadhyay ji, Shri M. Rajamani ji, Shri V.L. Patankar ji, and Shri D.D. Sharma ji. Good evening, friends. The topic of the panel discussion is very crucial for the highway sector, the road sector to move forward, to meet the challenges of the future, to give a sustainable and efficient road system to the people, to the country, which will boost the economy of the nation as a whole, to enhance the prosperity of the people at large, the road sector is generally considered to be a infrastructure sector only. But time has come when its contribution to the welfare of the people, to the economy specifically, to the growth and development of the society, as well as to preserve the cultural heritage of the society, needs to be considered and viewed from a different perspective. The roads can take a nation to a path of growth, to give a higher level of satisfied life to the people. What are the challenges to achieve this difficult goal? What are the impediments? How to overcome them? What are the solutions? And what are the way forward? May I now request the chairman of the session to set the ball rolling on this important issue. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Vishnu Shankar Prasad. And good afternoon, everybody. I am glad to be here for this panel discussion on challenges, constraints and strengths, the way forward in highway sector, enhancing value of road sector assets, enhancing safety of road users. You know, this entire IRC session, we tried to keep the focus, most of the papers, apart from the technical papers, most of the technical discussions, we were focusing on road safety and innovative approach. Road safety and innovative approaches. And in the previous midterm council at Kohima in May 2012, the council had approved the formation of the pilot projects committee for addressing the topical issues, urgent issues like road safety. And I'm really glad even this panel discussion started with a presentation by the traffic wardens of Coimbatore, who have undertaken the world's largest road safety campaign. World's largest road safety campaign. And spending their time and the energy for the cause of road safety. As one professor put it, we have to approach road safety not as a technical issue or a financial issue, but as an emotional issue. What if someone dear to us get involved in an accident? If we take it as an emotional issue, whatever technical solutions are required, we can find a way. Whatever finances are required, we will find a way. Whether it is government funding or from the stakeholders or from volunteers or NGOs, they are prepared to put in their time and effort and money also. Only thing, we have to be open and we have to enable them, support them. You know, ministry side, we have come up with some policy circulars which I had mentioned earlier in one of the presentations. We think advertisements will cause accidents, distract the drivers. But will it be so? At all occasions, we find advertisements everywhere. We are not able to prevent them. So will there be a controlled way of doing advertisement-based road safety measures? That will be one of the pilot projects, and we can come out with many different ways, many different ideas. Even in the warden's presentation, they were mentioning about education. We can educate the students, or we can make them learn in an enjoyable way. They have some games. Maybe we can have games online. We can have games online for the users, students, and Maybe there can be some way of rewarding them when they reach different levels of perfection, say a black belt. There can be so many new ideas and which can come up from you, which can be considered and we can implement them. I am very eager to listen from my co-panelists and from the esteemed audience about your views and suggestions. At this stage, I would like to give you one information. You know, in this IRC session, during this IRC session at Coimbatore, the executive committee of IRC, of which Mr. P.N. Jain is the, he is the president of IRC, he is leading it, and many of the executive committee members are here. The executive committee passed a resolution that road should be considered as the active infrastructure facility for people. Road should be for people, for safety and services. It has been accepted by the council also in their meeting. So the focus hereafter in IRC is going to be roads for people, for safety and services. Thank you very much. Now I will request Mr. P.N. Jain, President Indian Roads Congress, to give his views.
Good afternoon. Respected Sri Kandaswamy, DGRD and SS, MORTH, my panelists on the dais, distinguished learned speakers, learned delegates. This is a highly important and touchable issue of this panel discussion. So we want the support from the engineering fraternity, contractors, consultants and public also. So it is a combined effort to give the best road facility, road users be comfortable, road drivers, vehicle drivers will also be comfortable, and overall to reduce the accidents and fatality with the required safety measures. As rightly pointed out by Sri Kandaswamy, that IRC Executive Committee has also passed the resolution and it was also approved in the council meeting. So in short, I can say that roads for vehicles to roads for people, safety and services. So now we have to change this, that roads are not for the vehicle, but main aim is for the people or public or user, and with safety and services. And services also not to give the minimum, but it is up to mark. Second point I want to forward to you that road, as just we mentioned, that as passive infrastructure to roads as active infrastructure. That is most important, that active infrastructure for inclusive growth, facilitating multi-sectorial and multimodal development. So we know that so many areas are there, So we can develop, we can increase the facility and not so much cost also. With some interest and basic thing, we will say like that, okay, we can develop the good infrastructure as an active participation and active infrastructure. Third point I want to draw for that, conventional budget dependent incremental development to non-conventional jugaad lives through explorative pilot projects. So we have heard so many times the pilot projects, but that's with the method non-conventional jugaad. That is a word we are using, that so that the financing difficulty will be overcome, and we have the good infrastructure in India, throughout the country, with all the national highway. We can say that expressway or central government, state government, panchayat roads, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, all roads will covered with this, and there are so much scope available with us, and huge work has to be done in context to development in the India. Thank you very much. I request Kanda Swamiji to consider the very good points, and then after whatever the results will be there and appropriate at the ministry level also, he will try to accommodate in their work. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. P. N. Jain. Now I will request Mr. Ashok Kurana, Director General, Central Public Works Department, to give his views.
Thank you, Mr. Kandaswamy. Good afternoon to everybody and to my colleagues on the dais. The topic of this panel discussion is challenging constraints and strengths, a way forward in the highway sector, enhancing value of road sector assets, enhancing safety of road users. I would say constraint is also a challenge. Constraint doesn't exist. Constraint is a challenge, is a part of the challenge. And that our strength lies in overcoming these constraints. Constraints, we have been recently finding the constraint in the development because of the lot of awareness about the environment which has woken up. Lot of awareness about the road safety which has been ignored. From what I have understood and analyzed is this has happened mainly due to we have not been carrying all the stakeholders. We never considered the human being as a stakeholder, vehicle is a stakeholder. We never considered the environment. We went for the road construction. So these ignorances have made us to learn something. We should take forward on these experience what we have gained. We should not say again and again these are the constraints, these are the value additions, these are making our roads more safer, these are making our roads more conducive to the environment. We are not now trying to degrade the environment. We are trying to use the material to the least quantity. Another big thing challenge what we are facing, what every construction industry is facing is because of the environment, changes in the conditions, day in and out the court gives you a decision, the aggregate of sand from this area can't be used. They are right in their earnest. Why we are not looking for the substitutes? It is a challenge to us. Work out the more substitutes which may not be available in the Europe or other areas. We have to look into our own environment. I will give you one example. When I was constructing this Agartala runway, strengthening the Agartala runway, we had stipulated use of aggregate from the Guwahati, because the Agartala in the Tripura sector aggregates are not available. Because of the strike there, because of the difficult conditions in Guwahati, transport could not be arranged from the Guwahati to Agartala. So we had to look into another substitute. We lowered the specifications and we found there was no change. We used the riverbed material from the Silchar, which could be transported by road to the Agartala. We set up our own caches. This happened in the Mohanbari also. Somewhere we have to unite. These things should not become so sacrosanct. What are the specifications are there? We did spend 1 year on testing and the samples, but we could come over this constraint, and Agartala runways was made functional. Mohanbari was made functional. Mohanbari is the spine to the northeast, supplying all the logistical support to the northeast. So we had to change in the environment. I said this is challenge. It was not a constraint. That gave me an opportunity to analyze and design the new materials. Coming to the safety of the road users, I have been working in the Delhi Development Authority as engineer member also. There we have worked to come out with the street furniture guidelines after nearly spending 2 years discussing again and again, and it is available on the website. Looking at especially at the safety of the women, safety at the crossing points, street furniture guidelines. These are available. I would request to IRC to go through these guidelines, adopt whatever is suitable to them. Then those have been done with a lot of analysis. I had a problem. We had in Delhi people complaining to us when NHA1 was extended towards the canal. There was no crossings. In one meeting, we had to force LG. We had to tell LG, and LG had to force. If you don't provide the safety crossings, criminal proceedings will be started. So that was the attitude. I'm not complaining. I'm saying because we had not taken that as stakeholders. Our vision was that traffic should move fast. Traffic should move fast for whom? Carrying these human beings only. Materials for these human beings only. Why ignore them? That was the issue. So challenges are to strengths are there. Strength is our knowledge of the internal layout, our knowledge of the local materials. We must utilize them. I will give you another example. All this, when I was studying in the college, all the formulas for the canal system was developed by Kenny and Kennedy, because Britishers wanted to develop a canal system for the irrigation. All the formulas we learnt were developed because that there was a need. Now again there is a need to adopt to the local materials. We should change the specifications. If the life cycle comes from 30, instead of 30 years, 25 years, and I can use the local material, better I use the local material. We should look into these aspects. So I would request we should have a performance-based system also in the IRC codes. We should have a standard deviation system where the deviations are allowed, not that we are so much stricter that plus minus 10% or plus minus. It should be standard deviation. World has switched over to the statistical approach in the finalizing the specification. We should also try to go to the statistical. Prescriptive approach is going down and down performance. What we need is to perform. Let the thinker, let the technologist, let the researcher think what is required. What are the ways required to achieve this performance? It should become his duty. That is a challenge being thrown to him. He should come with the innovative materials. He should come with the innovative technologies. That's how the world is otherwise progressing in the Western hemisphere, where it is there is all the challenges are thrown and challenges are accepted. That should be the approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ashok Kurana. I will now request Mr. Philip Jordan to give his views.
It is working. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honour to be with you again and to have an opportunity to briefly outline some of my thoughts about road safety for India. Certainly, road safety in your country is a major health problem. We've heard the figures, 140,000 people dead on the roads here in India each year. The country with perhaps the highest number of fatalities of any country in the world. And it's very easy for one to say the problem is just so big that we will give up. We just have to accept it as a part of life, as a part of death. We need to remember that there are the three main elements in a road crash. There is the human, and the vehicle and the road. In terms of humans, their activities are the responsibility of enforcement from the police, of education from teachers and parents, from the media, making them aware of the dangers of using the roads and the need to use the roads correctly. And can I, at this point, congratulate the previous group that presented, the traffic warden, the road safety wardens from Tamil Nadu. I've not seen a group like that before, and I congratulate you on being volunteers and putting in such a fine effort. And their work with young children will be very valuable for a long time to come. In terms of the vehicle, we have, I think it's the Ministry of Transport, am I correct, responsible for that regulation here in the country? And of course manufacturers, and we've had presentations by Volvo this week about what they can build into a car to make it safer. But I would like to direct our attention to what we can do. I think it's important that we focus on what we as a group of engineers can achieve here in India today, tomorrow and into the future. We must be positive. We must not throw our hands up in the air and to declare that we cannot win. As engineers, we are responsible for building and maintaining roads. Roads are for the transport of people and goods, nothing else, for the transport of people and goods. And people want to get from A to B safely. We should be building safety into our roads, our highways, our rural roads, our local roads, our urban roads. Safety should be one of the driving forces. You may or may not be aware of studies that were carried out, one in England and one in America, 25 years ago, which showed very clearly that the road is involved in about 30% of the crashes. The human is the one that makes the mistakes, but the road either contributes to the cause of the crash or it makes the crash more serious once it happens. So engineers need to keep this in mind, and we need to be designing roads with safety in mind, and we must not focus just on the motor vehicles. That's too easy. The biggest groups of road users in India are motorcyclists and pedestrians, I'm told, and I've certainly observed that. These are very important people, and they are worth our attention. I would suggest, as I said yesterday, there is a need for engineers to put their hands up and to start to show safe roads and how they can be made specifically safe for the Indian context. There is a need for demonstration projects, 5, 10, 15, 20 kilometres of road, particularly highways, where engineers put in best practice and then maintain best practice. There is a need for engineers to become more aware of the work they're doing. In Indonesia, we have just recently made 3 DVDs to make engineers aware in their own language of what they can do at roadwork sites, to make them aware of roadside hazard management, and to make them aware of the profession of road safety engineering. I'd suggest that something like that is well overdue in India, and probably on a much bigger scale. And I'll certainly be recommending something like that to IRC. Road safety is certainly an emotional topic, but as a hard-nosed engineer, I'd suggest to you, you need to treat it as a business. Road safety, or I'll put it this way, non-road safety, crashes, the end result of having unsafe roads, is costing India about 3% of its GDP each year. Wouldn't it be wonderful if a fraction of that loss could be invested into road safety so that the country could gain benefits? So I suggest strongly invest for safety. I also use the term road crash. I keep hearing the term accident. An accident to me in the English language implies that it's no one's fault, it's just something that happened, it's in the hands of God and it was an accident. But I'd like to suggest if we start talking about these things as crashes or as collisions, then we will start to think differently, and we will realise that by putting careful thought and resources to the problem, we can start to reduce both the frequency and the severity of these collisions. Now, I've already mentioned the need to make engineers more aware and more expert in their work as road safety engineers. Road Safety Audit has taken a start here in NHAI and other road authorities. Keep asking if you are getting good value for money from those audits. Start up a register of auditors. Have regular training of auditors. In Melbourne, we run 3 two-day audit workshops every year. We've been doing this for nearly 20 years. If we can fill up those workshops 3 times a year in the state of Victoria, India needs 3 or 4 or 500 workshops every year. Someone needs to think much bigger in the training scheme. Black spot programs, not just simple little putting up a sign to say go slow, but a deliberate program aimed at a specific black spot, addressing the pattern of crashes at that black spot. I would like to see the day when India is getting rid of more black spots than it is building. And as I said yesterday, I suspect India is building black spots today at a faster rate perhaps than ever before in its history. And if it's doing that, that's very unfortunate for everybody. So whilst I'll conclude, Mr. Chairman, by saying road safety is a major problem for your country, as engineers, if we focus on the positive things that we can do, if we analyse, if we plan, if we provide the right resources, and then if we actually do, we can improve the situation. I think in India, we need to be making sure that we follow through from the analysis and the planning, the resourcing to the doing. And once we start doing and getting results and seeing positives, we will be encouraged as a profession. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Philip Jordan. Now I'll request Mr. G. Sharan to give his views.
Thank you, Mr. Kandaswamy, and my co-panelists, ladies and gentlemen sitting here. A very good afternoon. If we look into the road safety for any human being, it can be summed up in 3 words, ABC. That is attitude, behavior and culture. And just to elaborate further, to cover all this ABC, we have to go, as rightly talked in all the forums, that there are 5 E's, which is very important as far as the road safety are concerned. These are, first E is engineering measures, then enforcement, then come education, further environment, and then emergency. So these are the 5 E's, which is very important for safety anywhere in world, whether it is India or any part of the world, whether we are talking of national highways, express highways, or any type of roads, village roads even. So we have to look into what is happening and how we can achieve it. If you recall, India is very vibrant as far as the development of road sector is concerned, whether it is national highways under NHDP program or village roads in the Ministry of Rural Development under PMGSY. If you go back a little beyond, and when the first GQ under NHDP was started, the most vulnerable user of roads is the pedestrian. And the perception of people those days, when 2-lane was being widened to 4-lane or now 6-lane, they said that I can cross this road, this is my road. When I was crossing in earlier days when this program was not taken, in 1 minute, why I should not do when this road belongs to me, passing through my village, my road. So, lot of accident took place after development. And when we went into retrospection and many more NHDPs, page 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 7 were added, we look into the problems, what can be done to solve this. When earlier projects were taken, there was POP pedestrian underpasses or pedestrian overpasses every after 10 kilometers. So what is to be done to come out from this problems? Unless we create facilities which is to be permanently used, it cannot be used. I recall 5 years back from here today, when Mr. Kannaswamy was also here, and Mr. Balu was presiding 2-day seminar. That was especially on the road sector. All the stakeholders were there. We were interacting. So many facilities at a very high cost were created. Why it is not being used? For instance, underpasses, road over bridges, then service lanes, which was only 5.5 or 7 meters more were required in a built-up area. These were not used or the thrown. Underpasses not used because there was no lighting in the night time. Then it got flooded in a low-lying area. It was there. So we didn't do that much engineering, and we provided it. Road over bridges were used, but nobody is using because people don't want to climb and get down unless the escalator was needed. So many more things after interacting with the people and the stakeholder we came to know. The facilities which are being created in the engineering measures, it is not being used, and it want to be revisited and looked into so that it can be used. So this became one of the challenging job, and we started looking into matter, and now you find in even Delhi most of the road bridges are provided with the escalator. Then coming back to the other phases, now even 5 kilometers 100 passes you will find, and road over bridges fine. So these many more things can be done. Then coming back to the speed, which is one of the major killers in the road, and today more than 1,42,000 deaths is there, and injury more than 5 lakhs. How to reduce in the UN decade of 10 years, which is targeting 50% reduction in the death due to road accidents. So all these things become important. So we will have to probably look into the traffic calming, which can be one of the measures which can be adopted, and road sign marking, which can be really signage. I find it is there, but the moment you cross, you are unable to read. Either you read the signage or drive. Both can be done. So lettering, everything we have to see what we are providing at any cost on the road. It can be really to the benefit and uses of the those who are using that. Then need for marking forgiving roads also we need. There are engineering measures which can be, roads can be designed in such a way even we commit a little mistakes, we are not going to be fatal accident meeting, and we come out in a better perspective, and we can just thank the road and designers and those who have built it, that this is a road who are forgiven me this time, but if I repeat next time I will not be safe on this thing. The other menace which is very important is the drunken driving, which is one of the majority killing in Delhi. And Delhi, if you drive with drunken, then you may be sent in the jail. That is what in the traffic safety the Delhi Commissioner of Police told us, and he was with great pleasure telling that after sending people, those who are drinking, to jail, accident has come down very drastically at Delhi level. So this is one of the measures, and modern vehicles are also coming. If you are having a higher level of intoxication and taking drinks, your car will not start, you will not be able to drive, and you will be just not in a position to drive the car. Other aspect which was very important, it was told that drunken driver is, even somebody is your host and offering you drinks and you drive it, and unfortunately meet with accident, not only the person who is driving, if he is saved, will be under challan, or the person who is even giving you drinks is also liable to be punished. So these are the different measures which we have to do. So when I was talking about 5 E's, under one of the E's it can be done, because we are trying to build not only infrastructure, but we also want to tell that when any infrastructure is built at a very high cost, the result must come not to you in a desired manner, but it must come to you in a faster. So, end of day, what is very important is that we have to learn from our mistake which we have committed in the past, and we have to constantly review our updating either technology or whatever the project which we have done in the past, how best it can be made more public friendly, and those road users who are most vulnerable. And one of the I've already told you that more than 60% is dying pedestrian whom they are killed in the road accidents. So we have to look for them at the most. And the worst part is you will find in the metros most of the footpath is being converted into the road winding portions. There are a number of cycle, but unfortunately there is no cycle tracks. So these are the people who are going to be killed. So we have to make engineering measures which is going to accommodate all the road users in a most comfortable manner. So just I want to end it by telling that the road belongs to all, and it is all of us who have to look into how best we can coexist on the road and make the road more safer. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sharan. Now I will request Mr. K.C. Mohali to give his views.
Honorable Chairman, Shri C. Kandasamy DG, RD and SS, Honorable Co-Chairman Shri Ashok Khurana, DG, CPWD, learned panelists on the dais, respected delegates from our India and abroad, ladies and gentlemen. I am very much grateful the organizers have given me a chance to put forth this golden hour trauma care facility, what we have done it in Salem City. I will present this one through the PowerPoint presentation because very short time is there and so many speakers are there. I will try my level best to present it as quick as possible. I am K.C. Mohali. I am Commissioner of Police, Salem City. I have come from about 150 km from here. Salem City is one of the city in our Tamil Nadu, which is famous for the silver, silk, and sago syrup. The population of city is 12 lakhs, and it is about 100 square kilometer. In this city, the Golden Hour program we have implemented it. In fact, this Golden Hour trauma care program we have first started in the year 2008-2009 in Coimbatore city itself. It is a quite pleasant coincidence that today we are today the Indian Road Congress has convened the conference here, and in the same city the Golden Hour trauma care we have already started. With regard to Golden Hour is the first 1 hour time after the occurrence of an accident. At that time, the victim has to be transported to the nearest medical facility to institute life-saving measure. So, if there will be any accident, after the accident, first 1 hour is very important. Within this time, we have to give the treatment give the first aid to the victim, transport him to the nearest medical facility, and after that his life has to be saved. This is the concept of Golden Hour. Next. This Golden Hour concept of earlier it was there in 1918 in French World War I, when within the first 1 hour, if you give the treatment to the accident victim, the mortality rate is 10%, and it increases according to the time. If the time will be more and more, then the mortality will be more. And this data was subsequently used by the R. Adams Cowley in his golden hour concept. Supreme Court has given a guideline that in the case of Pandit Paramananda Katara versus Union of India, there that Article 21 of the Constitution casts the obligation of the state to preserve the life. There can be no second opinion that preservation of human life is of paramount importance. That is so on account of the fact that once the life is lost, the status quo ante cannot be restored, as resurrection is beyond the capacity of the man. So, whenever there will be any accident, it is the duty of the doctor, medical fraternity, as well as the public who are very available on the road. They should immediately take care of the person and give the first aid, and after they give the treatment. No law or state action can intervene to the avoid or delay or discharge of the paramount obligation cast upon a member of the medical profession. The obligation being totally absolute and paramount, law of procedure, either in the statute or the other ways which would interfere with the discharge of this obligation cannot be sustained and must therefore give way. So this is the observation has been made by the Supreme Court of India. With this objective, what we have done it, to give the golden hour treatment to the accident victim, the government is having the ambulance. In the meantime, we have put the private ambulance. So I say it a public-private participation. If we go on increasing the number of ambulance, the golden hour time we can reduce it. That is the main objective of the golden hour trauma care. So what we have done in Salem City, we are having 4 government ambulance. With 4 government ambulance, we have 12 ambulance we have added from the private, and with this we through our police control room we have interconnected, and there is a networking. And in the golden hour there is one book maintained, and this golden hour register will be registering all the accident wherever happening. Whenever the accident happens, immediately it will come through the wireless channel or through the cell phone to the control room. Control room will give the direction to the ambulance wherever it is available in our city. Then this is the government ambulance. He will pick up and he will immediately go to the place of accident and pick up the accident victim and bring him to the nearest hospital for further treatment. These are the private ambulance. They have also been stationed in various places to pick up the road accident victim and give the immediate first aid and bring them to the nearest hospital to give them the further treatment. This is our Salem City. We have been putting 16 ambulance in various places so that they can be picked up, the accident victim can be picked up and brought to the nearest station. Our police control room is having the all ambulance drivers' mobile phone number. So with this phone number, they will be contacted from our control room, and nearest ambulance will go and pick up the accident victim and bring to the hospital. And even these are the service being rendered in our city. We have given 900 auto drivers to the training of first aid, so that whenever there will be any accident, the auto driver or the first respondent. 6,000 auto drivers in our Salem City. 9 out of that 900 we have given them the training so that they can pick up the accident victim and give him bring him to the nearest hospital and give him the treatment. We used to have a review meeting, and in the review meeting, what are the problems there, we used to discuss. In this process, in the year 2012, 147 person have been killed in the road accident, and 775 person have been injured. Within 5 minutes, we used to respond. 5 to 6 minutes we used to respond, pick up the victim and bring him to the nearest hospital. These are the vehicles that have caused accident. Then this is the contribution, this is the way how people have died. If we see our statistics, 44% of the accident victims are the motorcyclists, another 44 are pedestrian, and the 7% are passengers, 5% cyclists, and no person has died with helmet. These are the finding of our study and our record. During the time, in the whole of the year, we have this kind of thing. Our government ambulance has rescued 64%, private ambulance 16%, auto driver 17%, and private have rescued 3%. In this way, we have rescued the people. Here, one most important thing I wanted to present before the all National Highway Authority here. In our Salem city, we have got National Highway 23 kilometer. In this 23 kilometer stretch, 63% have been killed, which is contributing 43% of the whole person killed in the road accident. Another is 61% state highway, that is only 90 kilometer, it is contributing 41%. And the corporation roads, it is only 16%, it is contributing 16%. So if we see this 23 kilometers of road is alone contributing 43% of the death. This figure, it is not only in our Salem city. If we see in other cities also, it maybe there will be some variation, but the accidents are happening like this. What I wanted to request all the Indian Road Congress authorities, that whenever gradually in our rural area prosperity has come, the people who are once upon a time using the cycles, now they have en masse shifted to the motorcycle. The people who are using the motorcycle, they have been shifted to the car, and the people who are using once upon a time car, they have gone to the very high quality car. In that way, the prosperity is occurred, and in the road there is a lot of pressure in the road. What I wanted to request all the National Highway authorities, that whenever we are constructing the road, we should try to avoid the confrontation with the locals. Our road should be there. It may be 4-lane road, it may be 6-lane road. Besides that, I request that there should be a roads for the local people, so that they can safely pass through their villages, and the confrontation can be avoided. In some places, subway can also be constructed. As a result, the life of the people can be saved. This is the way the people have been saved by autos, by our ambulance, and by our ambulance, as well as government ambulance, as well as private ambulance. My focus of my whole presentation is that there has to be the public, private participation. As a result, more and more number of ambulance we can increase, so that more and more people can be picked up, and we can maintain the golden hour time. This is also one kind of capacity building in our society. As a result, the accident victim can be given treatment and their life can be saved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kanucharan Mohali.